Welcome back to Mind of a Musician. This is episode 18, so we've survived a full 18 episodes, which is awesome. And something cool happened last week. So on Friday, I got an email from ICT-Radio, and I don't know if you know who they are, but there's a local music radio station. If you go to ICT-Radio.com, you can listen live, and they play local Wichita bands 24/7, which is really cool. So they asked me to contact their program director, and now they've asked me to be a content provider. Pretty cool, right? So we discovered that we are like-minded. We're all in the same mission. We want to help local music and build a community. So we decided we're going to team up. So I'm still independent. I still make my own creative decisions, but my podcast is now one of their featured podcasts. So if you go to ICT-Radio.com, you will see 3 podcasts, and this is one of them. So there's some other cool stuff on the site too. Besides just playing local bands 24/7, they also have a top 10 chart. I believe it's monthly, and users can vote on their favorite local song that's been playing for the past month, and a chart comes out at the end of the month showing the results. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, check that out. Go to ICT-Radio.com. Check that out and support them. And I'm pretty pumped to work together. So I'm also going to be putting up mindofamusician.com within the next week. I'm still trying to finish the design just a little bit, but I'm like 90% done. So look out for that. And that's where I'm going to launch the MP3 compilation album of local Wichita bands. Playlist is already up, so if you go to Spotify or you check out my Facebook, there's a link there to Wichita Bands Playlist Volume 1, which features like 19 songs by some awesome local artists. So let's get to it. 2 new bands today. One is called Vehicles from Wichita, and they've got a song called Young Bombers off their album Echo. So this song's pretty interesting. This kind of has a Tears for Fears vibe to me again, with a little more guts to it. Cody Cloud gave me a little bit of background about what this song's about. He said it's kind of about an idealistic young couple and about how they dream and they're hopeful for the future. He said that there's something unique that happens when you're dreaming, when you're hopeful, when you're young, because it's not necessarily grounded in reality, but it's really important to kind of get a little bit of that dreaming and hopefulness back. He was talking about when you're young, you have all these hopes and dreams, and then all of a sudden life hits you, like, responsibility and debt and student loans and stuff like that. But he says it's important for him to try to reconnect with some of that dreaming. I mean, yeah, if you want to do anything in life that is meaningful, got to be able to dream. So think about what you're passionate about when you hear this song. Like, what did you dream about when you were younger? Is there any dream or passion that you've kind of left when you got into the routine of life? When you got into the grind of going to the cubicle every day and, trying to put food on the table? Is there anything that you're just longing to do and you've forgotten what it's like to be hopeful and to pursue that? I've been there with music, honestly. I mean, I've told you guys before, if you know me, you remember I paralyzed my vocal cord when I went to Austin to do music for a living. And yeah, that kind of put an end to that. And ever since then, I've been slowly trying to fight my way back. So I can kind of connect with that idea. I forgot what it was like to dream for a while. And it's been a fight to get that back. I'm feeling good now, but I remember what it was like to forget how to dream and be hopeful. So some other cool stuff about this song is Cody told me when he was writing, it's always a challenge to come up with a riff that's not in a minor key. Like, a riff that's in a major key is more difficult to write, he felt like, than a minor key riff. And I agree. One of my friends told me, he's like, even when you write a song in a major key, like the verse is in a minor key. And it's true. It's a challenge. It's more challenging to write something that's in a major key that's good, that we rock artists feel good about. So he was kind of drawn to that challenge. When he came up with the riff, this song was born. One of their friends helped record and produce this song. He's from Admirals. It's a band from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So they went to Stillwater, Oklahoma to record this, and it was really fun because Andrew brought all this enthusiasm to the recording process. And in the past, the band Vehicles, they said they'd had experiences where they almost have to convince the producer when they're recording a song that the song is good or worth recording. But they didn't have to do that this time, and it shows on the record. Andrew was excited, enthusiastic, and he understood what kind of vibe the band was going for on this album. And so we have this song, Young Bombers by Vehicles. So let's take a listen, see what you think. All right, I hope you enjoyed Young Bombers by Vehicles. So there's something interesting about, making this podcast for me, is that sometimes I listen to the song for the first time, I get an idea of what I think it's about. And then when I hear back from the band, the song is not about what I thought it was. And this is one of those songs. So with the chorus, the first time I heard it, I thought they were saying, "Oh, I remember you're always too hot for me." So I thought this song was about somebody like pursuing a girl who thought like she was too good for him and she turned him down. So I thought that's what this was about. And then maybe later that guy has been successful and she's interested. And now he's like, oh no, I remember when you were too hot for me. So turns out that is not what this song is about. It's about that passion, trying to remember and reconnect with what it was like to dream. All right, our second band is Awaken the Echoes. They're also from Wichita, Kansas. And they have a song called Our Heads Held High. It's one of 4 songs on an EP called Southcrest, which is actually the street of the house they were living in. But this song is about how Justin Goodell, one of the writers, he was tasked with going to Korea for a year for Air Force duty. And there were all these emotions that he was going through when you're thinking about leaving your family for a year. Like, they just bought a house, which was the house they recorded the song in. And I mean, there's a lot that you're going through. And he said, you know, a big problem when soldiers are overseas like that is staying positive, trying to keep your head up. So that's what this song is about. It's about trying to go into this mission for 1 year away from home, away from your family, and keep your head up, hold your head up high. So that's where the song title comes from. In fact, the whole album, Southcrest, is about just thinking through all the emotions that you're going to have to face and trying to look forward to the future in a situation like this. One of the most interesting things about this song is it's actually instrumental. These songs are about something, but how's that possible? They don't have any words. Well, that's what is really cool about this, because each note is saying something. Each dynamic in the song is trying to say something, is trying to convey a specific idea or a feeling or a longing, just like words. So when you listen to this, try to think about, what is he saying here? To me, this song is big and vast, and it sounds like he's on a journey. It sounds like something that I would hear when I'm traveling, like looking over the mountains or a big vast landscape. And there is a sense of longing, and dynamically, you know, there's all this echo, and it almost brings a sense of confusion, like the whirlwind of emotions that you might be overwhelmed with when you're going into a situation like this. So listen for that meaning. Even though there's no words, this song means something. And what's so interesting about the recording process is this is another do-it-yourself song. It was recorded in their house, but it was the first and only album recorded in that house right before he had to leave to Korea. So they finished recording, he's got to pack up, he's got to leave for a year. I can't imagine what that must feel like. Like, you get a project like this, you don't even get to really enjoy the excitement of like releasing it and sharing it, because you're gone, you're on the other side of the world. So this is a really deep concept, really interesting. So let's listen to the song Our Heads Held High by Awaken the Echoes. All right, I hope you enjoyed our Heads Held High from Awaken the Echoes. You can find both of these bands, Vehicles and Awaken the Echoes, on bandcamp.com. They're on Facebook. If you look at my Facebook page, I'm going to post some stuff so that you can find them. I'll tag them in the podcast post. But, something I think is really interesting about that song, we talked about the whirlwind of emotions, but it escalates throughout the song, which to me kind of brings it to the climax of the journey. At the end, it's huge. There's lots of crash cymbal. The guitar is trim picking as hard as it can. And then all of a sudden, it just abruptly ends and vanishes, which to me kind of symbolizes how these situations, they seem like forever. They're overwhelming when you're in it. And all of a sudden, like that, it's over. It's a moment in time, and it's behind you. I would be really interested to hear what you felt and heard in the music from this song, because I think it's cool to know what an instrumental song would say to you. So tell me on the Facebook page. So both these bands are from Wichita, and again, they're on the Wichita Bands Playlist Volume 1 that I put out on Spotify. You can listen for free. Check that out. We're going to be covering a bunch of the other songs on that list, telling you what they're about, stuff about the recording process. And I'm pretty excited about this podcast because it's growing. This community is growing. I'm starting to get to know some other artists. So I'm super excited. And I just want to say thank you for listening, because that opportunity with ICT-Radio would not have happened if other people had not shared this on Facebook or liked it and stuff like that. So I didn't do this myself. You guys did this. And it's really awesome to see the community that we're starting to put together. And I'm excited to team up with other people. So look on out for mindofemusician.com soon. Hey, if you like this podcast, share it on Facebook, because that really helps the bands a ton. And that's what we're in this for. So, till next week, we'll see you next time.